Hey everyone. Hey Amy.
Hey, welcome to WTAF Live Sunday Edition. Surprise Sunday Edition.
Yes, we were not sure if we were going to go live tonight, so we didn't schedule it, and both of us got our stuff done. So here we are.
Well, we can kind of tell them the real story too, right?
Sure.
Sometimes Danielle and I, and sometimes there's a third person on the phone, and we just start chatting about this case, and then we think, wow, we should really include everybody else in this because what we're talking about and the way we work through things is so interesting and it's hard to recreate. So
It's
we just
true.
thought we'd let you listen in on what goes on BTS, and I'm not talking about a boy band. So
Wait, what's BTS?
you don't
What
know
what
BTS?
what
Oh
is
my
what boy
gosh,
band is BTS?
they're like the most famous band in the world. Like
The
people are like
Backstreet
obsessed.
Boys?
No, BTS.
I don't know who they are, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Apparently, I'm the only one because Car Guy 72 says his aunt used to babysit Philip Rivers. So oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to Google that one.
It's always something new.
Always. So, how's everyone doing down there tonight in the chat? Good, I hope.
Oh, Catherine Michelle, you caught alive. Yay.
Yeah, that's exciting. I got to get on my phone and look at the live from my phone so I can interact with the chat.
Gail doesn't know who BTS is either. We will do a whole show on BTS. No, we won't.
That's funny. So, I don't know. What are we going to talk about tonight? Hey, Jelly Bean. Do you guys have any questions down there? We went over a lot of stuff in our last couple lives, and there's still so much more to go over.
There really is. I think we kind of want to structure this like anything goes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Joe says, or Car Guy 72, I just doxed you. I'm sorry. He says nobody knows what I'm talking about. That's per than usual. I'm kind of accepting of that.
Well, I'm sorry, Joe, because I've doxed you about 100 times now. By
Yeah. And going
I didn't
Ember,
even
I
think
hate,
about that.
yeah, I hate to tell you this, but I know I'm older than a lot of you guys. Significantly.
No,
Oh.
you're not. You're not. You're not old. You're not a lot
I'm
older.
not, no, I'm not old, but I mean, I'm rubbing elbows with 50. So,
Well, you know,
and I think that's young, but whatever.
let's take some questions. You want to take some questions, Amy? Let's see.
Absolutely.
We're going to
Absolutely.
be kind of unfiltered here. I think a lot of you had, I don't know if it was a pleasure or not, but during Gannon's case, we were very unfiltered. So it's kind of what we're going to do tonight.
Well, it looks like Andy Hahn, I hope I'm saying your name right, or Andy Hahn. What are your thoughts on Cheryl's court documents contradicting the Dateline interview? We have talked about that BTS as well. So, I
You want to start with your thoughts or?
well, I think it's a very my response would be fairly simple, but in a complicated way. Um, I believe that Cheryl has two children that may or may not know all the details of their own custody battle, and I understand that because you don't want to alienate another parent. Although knowing what we know about Charles now, I'm not going to shame Cheryl in any of this, but for whatever reason, I believe she was trying to protect her family, and um, so just not talking about it with 100% honesty, and I'm being kind. I believe was a way of protecting her children.
I am in agreement with that. I am. I do believe it was to protect her children.
And it's difficult.
Yeah. And, we're well aware that the documents that we have released have been shell shocking. They've been hurtful, but we never released them to be hurtful. We release them because we cover true crime and we cover all aspects of true crime. And it's stuff that needs to be discussed. It does.
I agree.
It's relevant to this case, and it's not, unfortunately, it's very, very unfair to everybody who is related to these victims and family members and everything. It's very unfair to them because when you have a case that gets national, actually worldwide attention, such as this case, you're put in the spotlight and a lot of things come out, and my prayers go out to them. They do.
Mine too. And I will say this, when you have children and you're dealing with, divorce and custody and another parent, there's always this fine line between like being honest and truthful with your children. They figure out things on their own, knowing when it's age appropriate to tell them certain things. And I can only imagine that in the back of her head, she thought, at this age or at this time, I'll sit down and have a talk. And it just caught up to her really quickly. And it's unfortunate. And I think that's going to happen with a lot of other family members as well.
Yeah. And I think it's important to consider that Cheryl and Charles's sons lived through this. So they're not oblivious to it. They know what happened. They went through it just as Colby did.
They just don't know. They may not know or may not have known all the interlocking details.
Correct.
Because they were handled in a lot of ways by child psychologists and in a very healthy way. Although I feel like the courts didn't protect them. That
100%. Yeah.
I believe that Cheryl tried to, and I believe that the psychiatric professionals tried to work through this in a very kind and compassionate way. But they may have never known the other things that went on. And that's interesting too, because we talked about doing this as well as we speak about these incidents, paralleling Charles and Cheryl's custody and divorce with Laurie and Joe's.
Yes. And I believe that is something we are going to do and do an upcoming show on, because what's important for, I think, everyone following this case to remember is that none of these allegations began, whether they were against Joe or whether they were coming from the opposite side in Charles and Cheryl's divorce. None of this started until 6 months after Laurie and Charles married. And there's one common denominator in all of this, and it's Laurie. You guys want me to say her full name? I can say it. I haven't memorized.
Only if you say Sylvester McMonkey McBee at the end.
I might forget. So Laurie, Noreen, Cox, Yanes, LaGoya, Ryan, Vallow, Daybell. What was that last part? Sylvester what?
McMonkey McBee.
McMonkey McBee. Yes. So she's got a hell of a lot of name changes going on there.
Actually, she has more than that.
Does she?
You guys ready for a truth bomb? Yes.
Okay.
She was married to Jesus's brother in a past life.
Yeah.
she was married to Joseph Smith's grandfather at some point. I mean, we have to go back. We have to
But
go.
wait, she's currently married to Angel Moroni.
Moroni. Macaroni.
Whatever his name is.
Macaroni.
That's who she's married to. Jesus Christ was the witness of their marriage in the temple. So, hey.
And she has consecrated her marriage with Moroni too. And I'm not really sure how that works.
It works through a portal.
Ew. Ew. Like Bubble Boy.
Well, Chad built her a portal, remember? Chad built Laurie a portal in her bedroom closet. So
don't get me started on portals. I go way out. Nobody gets my humor. And no. and it's Sunday and I'm a little wackadoodle already. So
Andy Han, I don't know how I would react to this. How would you react if someone introduced themselves? I can't even say it.
Hello. We have been married in past lives, so this should go well. Well, isn't that how Chad picked up women? Isn't that how he hit on women? Because I've heard that Chad was very, very awkward and when he was in high school, and that the only way he got popular was in the Mormon club, and he claimed it was because he or the LDS club at his school, and it's because he claimed to have visions. And later in life, his whole pickup line with women would be like, you know, I feel like we were married in a past life. I can't say it. I feel like we were married in a past life. So, and then, like, how does the rest of the conversation go? Like, it's not slutty if you have sex with me, because, like, really, we're only married. So, no biggie. Moroni can watch.
Glowing Ember, you said you thought Angel Moroni officiated the marriage between Chad and Laurie. I can break this down for you. So Laurie believes and said
I have to mute my mic.
You can't leave me here laughing alone.
I'm about to snort.
So Laurie believes that she is sealed to Angel Moroni. Is that how I say it? I don't know how to say it. I'm going to say it how I say it.
Just call her macaroni.
Laurie believes, Laurie believes that she is sealed to him. However, she got sealed in the temple to Chad, and Angel Moroni witnessed the sealing. And Angel Moroni was actually Jason Mao dressed as Angel Moroni, and Jesus Christ was the witness. So that's where I guess she cheated on Angel Moroni to marry Chad, and Angel Moroni presided over their wedding, and he was okay with it. So whatever.
That works.
Oh my God. So any other questions? I think some of you have read the documents or accessed them.
Janine Lewis says, does this behavior not speak of just severe hallucinating? This lady really thought that she was married to Jesus's brother. Can you imagine what her children must have been listening to? Peace to you. Aw, you're sweet. Moroni pepperoni. I mean, so I can't even talk about her children because I'm going back to what I heard April talking about. It's April Raymond, right?
Correct.
Okay. So April Raymond is devout. And Laurie comes to her and starts telling her these things. And April says, I know you believe it's your truth, but I just can't buy into that. And Laurie says, well, you're just not ready to hear the message. Like, it's okay. We'll come back to it. I don't know what her children must have thought. I guess if you don't have any other reality and that's what you've grown up with, it's not shocking or surprising.
Jelly bean.
What? Oh no.
Oh gosh. Well,
Oh, what do they call those when you my whole life is a blaspheme, and I think because my mom may be listening, I'm not going to go down that hole, but
maybe he used one of those, those disappearing pens.
the
You know what?
disappearing ink.
Yeah,
Yes.
disappearing ink. That could be how he did it.
I know what happened. I know what happened. They were using a pap etch a sketch, and somebody accidentally got excited and shook it, and then it was gone. Whoops.
Oh, Jan, that's interesting. You grew up in a Mormon house. I'm going to get to your other comments as well. I see some other questions up there. You grew up in a Mormon house. You live in Utah. There are definitely people whispering about what Laurie believes, and they believe it too. Yeah, we've actually said that from the beginning. We've pointed it out from the beginning, and we were not liked for saying that. So I think we're at the point right now, we're not going to stop speaking the truth. Hence the name of our channel, Wicked Truths and F-Bombs, which stands for fact bombs and other F words. Not the bad F, not the bad F words, though.
Forensics, felonious, falsehoods, fictitious.
Yes,
Yeah. Freaks.
Yeah. Lark E asks, do you think Laurie really believed her kids were zombies, or was it just a convenient excuse to be unburdened and run away with Chad? That's a good question. Well, I think anybody who believes in zombies needs a serious psychiatric evaluation, and Laurie has had several of them in her life and seemed to walk away because of her good looks and her well put together appearance, unfortunately. Do I think that she really believes her kids are zombies? I don't know.
Well,
I think it's a mixture. I think that she definitely wanted to be unburdened and run away with Chad. I cannot understand why she didn't just take off and leave. Tylee was almost 17 years old. She could have given JJ back to his grandparents. There's a lot of questions there, and that's a hard one to answer. What do you think, Amy?
I think Laurie's always been surrounded by darkness, and it's darkness she's created on her own. I partially think the rating system and the zombies and all of that is a justification for the crimes she either committed by her own hands or suggested and was complicit in with other people. I do believe that there's part of her that is very, very misled, and I don't want to insinuate that she's not sane, because I do believe she's sane. I think this is all smoke and mirrors. There's two things that come to my mind, and one is what we were talking about the other night, when we were on the phone, when we should have just gone live, was Chad Daybell's little saying, the plan can't go on until the spouses are gone. I don't like hearing that, and I find it interesting that Laurie's children were rated as dark and zombies, but his children were not. Why were his children spared from that?
That is very interesting. Colby was not rated as dark. I will point that out. Colby was light.
But he's independent, and Colby is her puppet. Tylee was definitely not her puppet.
Right. Actually, let me pull up the light and dark ratings that she gave. I have them in my phone. We can keep chatting while I find them.
They say Laurie is the real zombie. Hey, Lufa.
We
Nice
are
to
going to
see
do a
you.
watch party on July 22nd, guys. We're going to see
Yeah.
if the world comes to an end right before us.
That's great. It starts with an earthquake. Was it earthquake, birds and snakes?
I'd like to know if Laurie and Chad's Doomsday runs on Eastern time,
That's what
Mountain
we were trying to
time,
figure out.
Pacific time. Are they running on time across the other side of the globe? We don't know what time this Doomsday is supposed to happen. So
I think we have to go, let's see. They have to get to the promised land is what we decided, I think, the other night. So they'll be in that time zone.
were any of you guys in our old group?
Our old Facebook group.
Our old Facebook group, because we had an original group on this case with like around 7,000, and we closed it about, I don't know, 4 months ago now.
Mm-hmm.
The best comment I ever read in there, and I still have it on my phone and I still laugh about it, is when somebody had suggested that some of this belief is that the promised land is Springfield, Missouri. And somebody from Springfield, Missouri commented, and they're like, I can assure you, this is not the promised land. I don't know.
While you're looking, we were on the phone the other night. She told me that, and I was dying laughing. And then I said, we have to find somebody from our YouTube channel that lives in Springfield, Missouri. And that night we'll be live and we'll ask them, do you see 144,000 people marching towards your town?
Well, Tambra's down there. Tambra, can you keep an eye out for us? She said that's her town in the chat. So keep an eye out on July 22nd.
Tambra, you're going to be reporting live from Springfield.
Loofah. That's funny. I'm pulling up the light and dark. If you guys only knew how many pictures I had in my phone. It's unreal.
So I'm going to go back because, hold on, I'm going to have to do it. I literally have a new setup tonight and it is insane. I have 2 laptops, my iPad and my phone in front of me, and I'm watching a bunch of different stuff all at once. Yeah. So Hannah says, apparently Laurie believes they were zombies. I agree with you 100%. I am LDS as well. Never have I heard of dark light or zombies. Such baloney. America is the promised land. America is the promised land. I will agree with that. I'm not sure that Springfield, Missouri is the new Mecca, but, I'm wrong about a lot of stuff. So there's that. Hi, my kids are brats. It's good to see you. Polly's Cookies. All of the older kids, lived independently. They were not in the way like Tylee and JJ were. Yeah, I think that's an important factor to consider.
Somebody had asked as well how old Charles's kids were when the divorce, or it wasn't the divorce, it was the disputes, like the custody disputes and the accusations were thrown around. So they were born in 95 and 98, and these started in 2007. So they would have been about 12 and 9-ish, give or take a little bit. And then it continued for a while. Hold on. I'm still scrolling, guys. I'll find it. We can keep chatting while I'm looking.
That's okay. Let's see. Timber says, I could be the new. Give me something in the promised land. I could be. I don't get it. I think I missed part of the comment. I'm sorry. Let's see. Lagstaff 613. Melanie Gibbs said Laurie had an August day for the end. Calculated it on her own apart from Chad. Oh, double indemnity, huh? So she covered herself.
We got to watch out for July and August.
Well, maybe July is just like the dress rehearsal.
That could be. Okay. So I got it pulled up. We'll go through the light and darks. Let me just scroll down.
Luca's going for the pickled zombie tonight. Are you marinating your kidneys?
Okay, so Barry Cox was rated at a 3L and originated from 1500s France. Janice Cox was rated at a 3L, which is a 3 light, and she originated in 1600s England. I'm going to try to get through this without laughing.
Oh.
Stacy Cope, who is deceased, I believe she died in 1998, was a 3L on Earth, has graduated to a 4.1L.
Oh, wait. Oh, so you can
I don't know.
ascend the scale and descend the scale?
Yeah, you can. It moves. Their scale moves around.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. Oh, I got to mute my mic. Hold on. Everything's okay, but
Okay. Alex Cox was a 2L, so he was listed as 2 light.
I'm back.
Adam Cox was the 3L. Laura, that is Laurie's sister. It was her infant sister who died before Laurie was born. So Laurie had a sister named Laura, and then her parents, had Laurie and named her Laurie, which is just a whole nother weird aspect. But
yep.
So Laurie is a 4.3. I'm sorry, Laura was a 3L on Earth, just as Stacy was, and graduated to a 4.1L. Laurie herself is listed as being 4.3L. Summer Cox Shiflett, which is Laurie's sister, is a 3L. But it's it's important to know, everybody, that Summer's husband currently was listed as a 2L, but he was a borderline 2D. So he was kind of teetering on that line of moving from light to dark.
He was a seesaw zombie.
Yes. And Laurie listed her first husband as a 2L. He was light. Her second husband, I can't, you guys. It's hard to take it serious. William LaGoya, he was listed as a 2D. That could possibly be why he does not want to talk about anything in the public, because
he already dodged a bullet once.
Laurie's got him listed as dark. He's probably on the hit list. Son, Colby Ryan, 3L. He's light, but his wife, Kelsey, she's listed as 3D. She's dark.
Of course she is.
She was possibly on the hit list. Third husband, Joseph Ryan, listed as 4.3 dark and is now sealed away. Daughter.
I hate that.
I know. Daughter, Tylee Ryan, 4.1 dark. Fourth husband, Charles Vallow. He was a 3 light, and he originated from 1700s London.
Oh.
Yes.
He's an expat.
Yes. His first wife, Cheryl, was listed as a 2D, so dark. She was probably on the hit list. And Zach Vallow was listed as 3 light, while Cole Vallow was listed as 3 dark. And Joshua Vallow was listed as 4.2 light, which is very... I don't even know how the hell you make sense of this, but so Laurie had two of her kids were listed as light, and one of them was listed as dark. Tylee was the one listed as dark, as 4.1 dark. And then Colby was listed at 3 light, while JJ was listed at 4.2 light. Niece Melanie Boudreau was listed at 3 light, but her husband Brandon was a 3D, and don't forget there was a hit on his life.
Right.
4 kids between Melanie and Brandon. Both boys are 3 lights. Older girl was a 3 light, and the younger girl was a 4.1 light. And I don't even know. I'll just read this. I'm just going to read this from what it says because I don't understand what it means. Family history information. Current numbers on Earth at the time of each estate level. These totals represent the light spirits. The dark has equal numbers. It's got an estate number 6, 5 males, 2 females. Estate 5.3, 0 males, 0 females. Estate 5.2, 71 males, 0 females. Estate 5.1, 133 males, 4 females. Estate 4.3, 700 males, 1,300 females. Estate 4.2, 7,000 males, 13,000 females. Estate 4.1, 70,000 males, 130,000 females. Estate 3, 700,000 males, 2.3 million females. And then they got tired counting. They got tired of counting when they got to estate number 2, and they listed males as billions and females as billions. Most LDS members are level 2. Most bishops and ward leaders are level 3. Most state presidents and general authorities are level 4. Most apostles are level 5. A few are level 6. The dark side can only match the light numbers, not exceed them. This is why there are a few 5s on Earth right now. It limits the dark power. 2s and 3s are fluid and can change sides during Earth life. 4.1 and above have made covenants to their side. They rarely switch sides. So, if that's not some delusional bullshit, I don't know what is.
I don't either, but the delusions are, I mean, we talked about this the other evening. She had delusional thinking, and she was claiming to be communicating with the dead. And I'm gonna stop right there and clarify something, because I'm not making fun of people that think that they have communication, because if you've ever had anybody pass in your life, you can have a dream about them where you feel closer to them. And I do believe that, for me, I believe that could be real.
Are you talking about like when we lose somebody we love and you have a dream?
Right.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I believe in that.
Yes. I don't want anybody to be offended if I'm like, when I go further with this, I don't believe that's what Laurie was dreaming about. She was getting legal advice, and just some crazy stuff. And something that,
oh wait, from her, are you talking about from her lawyer?
Yes.
She didn't dream that.
She didn't dream.
That wasn't a dream. She physically said he came to visit her every night, like came and spoke with her.
Okay. I'm using the word dream to be kind. Okay.
Oh yeah, she was. Yeah, you're being kind. I'm not. She wasn't dreaming it. She thought she was sitting in the living room or in her bedroom, and he was sitting there speaking to her while she was awake.
Spirits were coming to her in physical format. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's more like a hallucination, in my opinion. But something, and I'm jumping around here because my mind just like does that. But something we haven't talked about, at least in the past couple of days, is the whole demon Nick Schneider, because I'm sorry, that is like, that blows my mind. Like, that's where some of this starts going to crazy town for me.
Christina and I have found some information on that. I think we're still looking into it. I don't want to really say it publicly, but we think, I know she's down there in the chat. I didn't get to say hi because we were talking, but we're going to follow up on that this week, because I think we might know where that name came from. I don't think it was
pulled out of the air.
Right.
Because every time I hear Nick Schneider, I just think of like, I don't know why, I just think of like John Schneider from Dukes of Hazzard, and he's like all evil, and he's like, I'm just gonna hop in here and do my evil work, and it's weird. I can't. some of this stuff, it doesn't. It's very helpful that a lot of this stuff is actually in the court documents, because otherwise, I'm not sure I'd ever believe that any of it was true.
Well, I don't think any of it,
That it
is
happened.
true. Right. Absolutely. I agree.
So, what are they saying in the chat?
What other questions you guys want to talk about?
My kids are brat says, why didn't they kill all the dark, rich, superstar pedos? Well, they got Jeffrey Epstein, so that was good. I'm sure Laurie could take credit for that. She'll probably take credit for Ghislaine too, Ghislaine Maxwell. I mean, we're really hurting ourselves having her in prison.
Please talk about Melanie Palowski. Okay. What do you want to talk about? We can talk about her. There's some interesting things there about Melanie. Some very interesting things about Melanie, such as, let's see some comparisons that I've just noticed. So when Laurie left Joe Ryan, she claimed that she found gay porn on his computer. Okay. Well, reading through the documents, Joe admitted to being interested in lesbian porn, which is a common thing among men. It is. Let's be real. What's interesting about that is when Melanie left Brandon, she decided he was gay and she left him. That was her excuse for leaving him. So there's another, it's almost like Melanie followed Laurie's stories in her own life, if that makes sense. What is the chat's thoughts on Melanie?
Well, let's see. They say that they recalled Brandon is remarried.
Yes.
Agreeing it's a common fantasy of men. Musty testicles, long time no see.
Oh, you said the whole name. Good for you, Amy. I can't get that name out. I just call him Musty. Someday I might work myself up to saying your whole name there, Musty, but I just can't. It cracks me up.
Nick Schneider double dog dared me, and I was like, son, I can do this.
Oh boy.
Didn't Joe's sexual test say he could be bisexual? There were inferences, but
the first one did. The second one did not.
Right.
Yeah, they said that he was just basically a normal adult male. So,
all right, let's see.
Yes, Kay Woodcock's daughter did say that. Charles found a video of Laurie dancing for Chad. Yes, it was in the emails. Laurie sent emails to
was
Chad.
It the hula?
Laurie sent emails to Chad, and she didn't delete her sent folder. So,
yeah, not too sorry.
Let's see what Jilly Bean say.
I think she played dumb because of the child custody battle. Melanie P knew a lot more than she let on to.
I agree with that. Jan Thurgood said she believes Melanie is shady. I agree with that. Wait.
Let's talk about why she doesn't let on to what she knows. Is she under Laurie's spell? Is there some, do they all recognize that people disappear when you go against Laurie?
Right.
I mean, what is this where people just jump on the Laurie bus? I don't understand. I mean, what's in it for them?
I don't know.
What's in it for them? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I mean, I can't figure that out. Because at a certain point, there's just a line in the sand, and it's like, my relative is cuckoo, Well,
at what point do you move up to the same exact city right next door to the townhouse that your aunt is living in, and you don't question why your niece, or I'm sorry, while you, where your two cousins are, where your two minor cousins have disappeared to.
Right.
I mean,
Because,
that's
right.
pretty concerning there, and I know that she is listed as a person of interest in this case at the moment. So,
And that, you know, the fact that people around Laurie accepted the inability to produce JJ and Tylee and the stories and what have you, it's interesting that Laurie was, I mean, in her head, she was like, well, it worked with my friends, so it'll work with the police. It'll work with the court.
right.
You know,
Right.
it's
You
mega
know
mind.
what I find very, very interesting about Melanie and Christina, I'll address your comment in one moment because you have a great point. What I find very interesting about Melanie, and I actually worry about Ian Palowski's safety because he wired up and he was working with the cops against his wife, and they're still together and she's pregnant. And I don't understand why he's staying with her unless it's to protect his unborn child. I would also be probably scared to close my eyes at night if I was him.
You think so? No Linesta in that house.
I mean, there was already a hit attempted on her ex-husband. So there's a lot. Christina said Melanie was sheltered most of her life from the Cox family, and then she gets back in contact with them, and suddenly she's all in. That speaks volumes of the family dynamics. Absolutely 100%.
Yes.
Because Melanie's father had custody of her and raised her and took care of her, and
she still got involved in it.
right.
Yeah.
And her mother died. I mean, her mother died when she was around 9, I believe. So once her mother died, I don't know that she had much contact with the Cox family till she was an older teenager, and they were still able to get their beliefs.
I'm sorry.
What
Maria in bed, she wrote, "Run, Ian, run." One eye open, Ian.
Thank you, Alley Cat K. Thank you so much for the super chat. That's very kind of you.
Be Real says the main part of this is the innocent children. In people, but children have no voice. True. Yeah.
Alley Cat K said, "Isn't Melanie Palowski's dad helping Brandon with custody?" I believe so. I do think so. I don't know for a fact, but I believe that is correct. Christina might know more, and I think she's in the chat.
Ooh, Christina has another really good comment too. She says, then add in Tylee being Melanie's mother's reincarnation. She's in very deep, whether she admits it or not. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I can't even imagine the kind of pressure it must be to be Tylee and be like, you're not yourself. You're the reincarnation of my. I can't.
yeah.
I mean, how does that work? Are you your own person and you just have a little bit of that other person in you, or I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't understand any of it. Christina did confirm that Steve Cope has been working with Brandon Boudreaux throughout their custody battle.
Mm-hmm.
So Steve Cope actually has a very, very deep insight into the Cox family.
I'm sorry. I'm reading all your comments, and I just got to say something. I feel like we're back in our little safe place chat group here because you guys crack me up. Glenn Amber wrote, Millie, she calls her Melanie PP. I just can't. And Musty.
Charlie Hunt said Ian cannot see his kids unsupervised because Melanie P said they were zombies. That is correct. Be real. I agree with you. Be real said, I am concerned for Colby. Can't begin to imagine his struggles.
No, oh, I laughed inappropriately. I'm sorry. Yeah, I hope that somehow, even if his support system ends up just being professionals and not people he already knows, and hopefully his wife, I hope that he's getting that support that he needs right now, because this has to be an extremely difficult time for him.
Yes. Andy Hand, didn't Melanie say she wanted to be a boy when she was little? I have heard such rumors tossed around about her chopping her hair off, trying to change her looks to be masculine, among other things. That's actually listed in, I shared the Reddit link yesterday. That's listed in documents that were released surrounding the Cope divorce of Stacy and Steve. And those were one of the concerns that Steve had. So there was some things going on there. Melanie was definitely being affected by her mother's behavior, and Stacy had a lot of erratic thoughts and behavior. She was not taking care of herself when it came to her diabetes. She wasn't listening to doctors, and it's a long read. The Reddit thread is posted in our Facebook group. I don't know what the thread is called, or I would tell you guys. I did post it in the comment section of our last video as well, so you can find it there too. Cussy, that is a very good question. Why was Tylee dark if Stacy was light? That's one of the best questions I've seen. Not to discount anybody else's questions, but that is very interesting to think of, because if Tylee was the reincarnated version of Stacy, you would think that Tylee would be light, right?
Right. So whose fault is that? Is that Stacy's fault or Tylee's fault? Because you can change on the scale.
Mm-hmm. At any time.
Right. And what's the average of what Stacy was she 3L?
Let me pull it up again. I think I still have it up.
And we must remember, when we're doing this demon algebra, that D can never outnumber L.
Is that how it goes?
That's the Moroni theorem, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Be Real says. Oh, go ahead.
Once you become dark, you cannot become light again. Is that how it works?
I'm sorry.
Andy, our Facebook group does not have the same name as our channel. We'll drop the link to our Facebook group down there. Sorry, cut you off, Amy, while you were laughing.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Wait, I just highlighted the wrong comment, but my kids are brats, so hard to be patient. You hope Tammy's autopsy brings more justice. We do too. Mm-hmm. This one, the 144,000.
Amanda, thank you for posting the Facebook group link.
Yes, so thank you.
You all need it, and we will put it in the comments section when we are done for tonight.
Jesus pimping.
Blasphemies.
Oh, you know what I can't wait for? Is the
July
replay.
22nd?
Oh, yeah. When people rewatch this video and we get the comments about how inappropriate we are for laughing. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, well.
We get in trouble.
Okay. That's how we do it here.
They don't like us laughing.
It's all right. They don't like my bird, who's being surprisingly, not my bird, but they don't like the bird that lives in my woods. He's being very quiet. Yep, Gordo's being quiet. Maybe Laurie got to him. I don't know. I heard he was 4D. He was on the list. He makes all the cases. He's over there with Letitia,
Has he
hanging
made his
out.
case yet? Has he made his appearance in this case?
No, I don't believe so. He's
He
frightened.
he always popped in Gannon's case all the time.
He did.
And the chat so kindly named him Eduardo. So
Yes.
I'm getting back to this 4-3 dark light stuff really quick.
Professor Alpha says, I think Chad played too much Dungeons and Dragons growing up. He was still trying to play it as an adult, except with real people. That comment is funny, but there's some truth to it, because we've talked about how Laurie's accusations seem to stem, or could possibly stem, from her own real life experiences or experiences of those close to her. A lot of these outlandish things they say, I believe when you look at the timing, the zombies, the Walking Dead books, and the beginning of them developing series. Not that zombies are a new thing, but they were pop culture. There is something to them taking little bits of here and there from things like D&D. I can make those correlations. I can sit down and make those correlations very easily. That's more the way my brain works with stuff when we're talking, than some of the other aspects of this case, just because of the way I'm wired. But yeah.
Well, one of the things that Laurie wrote in her journal that I always come back to is, in her own writing, she wrote, "For if we know the dark, we know the light." And then she's got the whole thing within their, I don't know, even their spreadsheet that they made about light and dark people.
Mm-hmm.
So does she believe that if people become dark, they know the light, so it's okay to kill them?
Apparently. That's why I was saying it's almost like justification for murder.
Yeah.
It turns it into them being, I was going to say vigilantes, but that's not the word. They're like crusaders for Christ type of a thing.
Right.
But they're not true. These people are evil. So I don't even want to insult people that are Christian and believe in a higher power and are trying to live good lives, and put Laurie in there, because Laurie and Chad are not good people.
No, they're not. Laurie also believed that Rexburg is the city of light, which is interesting.
He should have worked for the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah. She might have did better doing that than
right
where she's sitting at today. She, I don't know, her whole mindset, it's hard to wrap your head around it. It's hard to make sense of it.
Ooh, Stephanie May has a good question. She directed it at Christina. She said,
let me scroll down to the comments really quick so I can see it and get it on the screen.
Okay.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. She said, why didn't April question the name crossed off the list and April's added in? Can you imagine seeing that?
Yeah.
Well, I believe April was, well, I'm going to let Christina address it, because way more versed than I am. Admittedly, Danielle and Christina and the team followed this from day one. I did not. So I'm coming in on the back end trying to...
Well, you kind of followed it, because I would come to you and be like, Amy, oh my gosh.
Well, I did. I
can't deal with this. I don't know what's going on. This is insane.
I did, but I was involved in some other endeavors at that time.
Right.
So I just didn't. give it. I wish, you can't go back. You can't Monday morning quarterback yourself, but I wish I could go back and hadn't wasted my time with those other things and been more involved with this, to be honest.
Yes. Yeah, I get it.
So Be Real says, what I wonder is, has Chad ever killed or been involved in his behaviors anytime before? Well, he claimed to have visions as a teenager.
I was actually going to ask the chat this. I've ordered a couple of his books. Would you be interested in us reading 2 books in specifically? One would be the one he wrote about his time as a cemetery sexton. It makes me want to throw my phone. I'm not going to lie. I would definitely read it. If you guys would like us to read it, I can do that. The other one I have right now is his autobiography. So if you guys want us to read it, let us know in the comments. Even after this video, let us know and we'll read them. They're very... The One Foot in the Grave book, let me just tell you, this man had no respect for the dead, even back when he lived in Utah and he was a cemetery sexton. Zero respect for the dead. So, oh gosh, there's a comet coming on July 22nd. Read them live on here. I would read them live on here. I mean, I'd rather read them to you guys than have anybody waste their money, because I think Chad's still getting that money somehow. It's going somewhere, sure. Right? Yeah. So I'd be happy to read them on a live reading. And
as long as those books are selling, it doesn't matter. He will always get residuals from that.
Yeah. So
and he gets pretty big ones because they're published by his company.
Yeah. So if you guys want us to read them, I'll read them. And what does that say? Oh, oh, wow. Sweet crazy. Chad worked right up the street from you, from your house at the Ogden Standard Examiner for like 5 years.
Wow.
There might be copyrights. I don't know. You think Chad Daybell's going to come after us?
Probably. There's ways to do it.
Yeah, we'll do it. We can
trade craft. We're not going to say how.
Yeah.
But yes,
I actually was going to order more of his books, but first of all, they're not cheap. Second of all, they're not my forte. Third of all, I don't want to put money in his pocket. And fourth of all, I don't know if I want to spend the money on reading shit that I don't like. That's how I feel.
Yeah, because we kind of do that for free on the daily.
Yes. Yeah, we do.
I don't feel like, being a baller and making it rain. So, oh gosh.
Okay, so we'll plan that. You guys are looking like you want us to read it, so we'll plan it.
I am looking up something really, really quickly.
Yes, Amanda, it's super hard to read something you don't buy into. That's why, you know what, Gail? I was looking on Amazon. None of them are free. None of them are free. Chad doesn't give anything away free unless I missed it. But
I'm going to tell you, there's quite a few bundles on eBay.
Yeah. I bought the
Which
Kindle.
Ones do you want?
Well, I bought the Kindle editions because they were cheaper, and I figured he'd make less money that way, because I think Amazon gets a bigger cut when you buy a Kindle edition.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the One Foot in the Grave, and I have his autobiography. And the autobiography talks about how he split his head open, right, at some age, and it didn't heal right, so that wound left him seeing onto the other side of the veil.
It was a metaphor for a portal.
Yes.
It was mind opening. Yeah, there's quite a few bundles on eBay.
Yeah, we'll have to look into those. His series, I think he has a series on Emma.
He does.
And actually the Preparing of People.
An errand for Emma. Mm-hmm.
Let's see what somebody say about the autobiography. I can look right now actually and tell you, Tambra, how long. Let me find.
Standing in Holy Places book series, all 5 books together.
Okay, Living on the Edge of Heaven is, I don't know how many. How do I tell?
How many pages?
Yeah, let's see. It's 2,495 pages of Chad's bullshit. One Foot in the Grave is 1,420 pages of Chad desecrating dead people, basically.
Mm. Okay, I mean, yeah, he has a trilogy written about Emma. One of them is called, there's the Errand for Emma, there's Escape to Zion, and there's a third in there.
Okay, so those all play into the camp out that I tweeted about this on our Twitter. If you guys look at our Twitter, we posted some stuff about this.
Oh.
Preparing a People who thinks we're funded by Soros, by the way. They had a big camp out in late 2017, fall of 2017. And a lot of the focus on that was on Emma. I saw that Christina Pap renamed themselves. What's their new name again?
Smear. Sorry.
We all must view Nancy Grace on YouTube, Charlie Hunt. What's Nancy Grace got on there?
Andrea mom. There you go. That's what happened to Chad. He split his head open.
What is it? Come follow me 2020? Okay.
Oh, seriously? Oh.
What are they going to call it in 2021?
There is no 2021. The world is ending.
Oh, gosh.
Yes.
Who just made that comment? Shell Bell, I've wondered that. I have wondered if they are going to commit suicide. And a lot of people, I think there's it goes one way or the other. Some people think they will. And then there's people, like your comment, believe that they love themselves too much to suicide out. So,
yeah, I don't know. You'd have to really believe your own bullshit to do that.
Yeah.
And then you got to figure out who Tylee came back as so you can stay clear of them, since they tend to reincarnate within the family.
Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, I think Melanie being pregnant, that's concerning because if she follows Laurie's beliefs, is she going to believe that her baby is a reincarnated version of one of her dead family members?
Right.
Good night, Jilly Bean. Good night.
Good night.
He will be living on the edge of hell. Yeah, he will.
If Laurie was pulling on Charles while he was driving, she clearly doesn't have much care for her own safety either. Well, she only. It's weird because she does care, but in the moment, it's about what she wants at any cost. So, what's
interesting is that I was told, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, guys, that how a lot of religions, the religion that I was brought up in, and I don't believe this currently, I think suicide is a very, very sad thing. But a lot of religions do believe that if you commit suicide, you go to hell.
Right.
The Latter-day Saints, that is not a belief of theirs. Sorry for the noise in the background. Oh, he said sorry too.
I heard him. Oh no.
Yeah. I got my little boy here behind me getting some cookies. So I don't know. Would Laurie and Chad have like a suicide pact? Because they believe they're following the LDS. They believe that they're good Mormons, and they
Right.
believe that they've started their own church. I don't even know I can't remember the name of the church.
Well, going Ember, like the chat is moving, but up a ways now was saying definitely no because they are. Um, hold on, I because I don't want to misquote her, but it was a good comment.
Oh, it's right here. I got it.
You got it.
Yeah. First, Christina said, "So will Melanie still be pregnant after July 22nd? How does that work?" I don't know. Glowing Ember, they won't kill themselves. Oh, good point. That's a good point. They're translating beings for heck's sake. They can't die. So they would prove themselves wrong if they committed suicide. That is a very good point.
It was
Because their belief was that when this world ended, they were going to remain and they were going to
right and
rebuild.
repopulate the earth.
Mm-hmm. Church of the Firstborn. Thank you, Diane.
Yes, that's why they had to have so much sex because they were in training. Yes.
Yeah, Shelley, I don't believe that they were following. I don't believe that they were following the LDS church. Let me clarify. I believe that Chad and Laurie believe they are following the LDS faith. Does that make sense? I'm not saying that they're following the church's beliefs at all, but they think they are. I hope that makes sense.
So, did you see Luna Girl's comment?
No, let me scroll up and see what she said.
Because it was interesting.
You think Alex is Colby's father? Huh. Luna, I'm not sure because the man who is supposed to be Colby's father looks exactly like Colby. But we could talk about this topic if you guys liked. Not about him being Colby's father, but what kind of relationship did Alex and Laurie actually have? Because I personally do not believe it was a healthy one.
No. Not at all. Shelly, yeah. Okay, so Shelly says, they were building their own church. Chad wants to be the next Joseph Smith. Good. Okay. Christina Lynn says, yes, Colby is his father's twin. Oh, thank you for the compliment, Diane. That's really sweet. Good night. My kids are brats. Oh, Lynn Fox, flowers in the attic. Yes, VC Andrews shit, right? Very much. Maybe Laurie read a lot of VC Andrews books. They were popular in the day.
Musty, you're cracking me up tonight. You said, what if Chad was correct? Zombies were us and the dead was the living, and we should all shoot unicorn sparkles.
For our shame caves.
Every full moon. Oh.
Shame caves is my new favorite saying. Oh,
Shelley says they didn't believe July was the end of the world. They believed it was beginning of the end. When they would have the call out and go to their camps while the rest of the world goes through everything. So I can't lie. I'll be 100% honest with you. We've dealt with a lot this year, all of us, right? We've had pandemics. Our country's probably in a recession. There's been a lot of crazy things happening. You see a lot of things happening in the news. And what was it I said to you, Amy? And I was like, I feel really crazy for saying this, but were Chad and Laurie onto something about 2020?
Right.
Because
Right. She
it's
predicted the earthquake, and remember the day? It was like the middle of the day, and I was like, "You guys, there's just a big earthquake."
yeah, and it was in Utah,
It
and
was in Salt Lake, yeah, near Salt Lake.
Chad said he was not releasing his next book. This was way prior to him being arrested and all that. I think this was in 2018 that he was not releasing his next book until the second big earthquake happened. One of which had already happened. He was waiting for a second one to happen. And then boom, there was a huge earthquake in Utah this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
What?
There's locusts in India eating all the crops. Now we've got bubonic plague again coming out of China. Yeah, the world is kind of crazy right now.
So I thought I was kind of crazy for like, was Laurie onto something when it comes to
Canberra? Oh my God, we're gonna have 144,000 psychos roaming around Springfield for real. Then yes, girl, that's what I'm telling you. You're gonna be the man on the scene that night.
Wait, Julie Rowe is taking credit for prophesizing the Salt Lake City earthquake.
Murder hornets were lame.
On my stars, you're stocking up on food. I'm stocking up on toilet paper because when we went through the pandemic, let me just tell you, there was no toilet paper where I live anywhere. So every time I go grocery shopping now, I buy toilet paper.
We do too. And we're not even necessarily hoarding it for ourselves. Like when we hear of other people, like our friends or whatever, we're like, well, we're like mobsters. Like we'll show up at your house and like pop open our trunk and we're like, here, don't tell anybody. Like if we could pass it in a secret handshake, we would. Zulema. Why did Alex take Zulema's last name?
I don't know.
That's a weird one too.
I don't think anybody has the answers to that. I'd like to know.
Why are we talking about green pea?
What?
I just looked up and
I don't see that.
Sweet Crazy says musty, yes, green pea. I don't.
Oh, they're talking about weed.
Oh, okay. That's not my thing. Oh dear.
They're talking about some ganja.
Oh, okay. I'll have to catch it later. Sweet Crazy. The chat is.
You're funny, Amy. You crack me up. Oh
my gosh.
I think it's interesting that Alex is the head of the Cox family or the Cox Children's Trust, and he's dead.
Yeah.
And Zulema, I know she filed something in probate, so I'm sure though the Cox family has that trust well protected. Hey, Melissa Hart, you're a new sub. Thanks for joining us. What did you guys see in our Facebook group? He tried to change his name in the past. I don't even know if I can say it. Alex tried. If I get it wrong, Christina, tell me.
Where is it?
But Alex previously filed for a name change. And he was changing his name to Tan Antonio.
That's right. Right, but he had a business named Tan Antonio too.
Yeah, he was totally changing his name to that though.
Yeah. Well, branding.
So we should change our names.
Yeah. You can be what, WT, and I'll be AF. I'll just be F. It'll be like, what the? And I'll be like, as fuck.
I agree with you, Shelby or Shelly. I agree with you 100%.
While he was living in San Antonio, yes, Christina, it's too much.
The Heavenly Father and Jesus, I know, would never have the murders of children as part of a plan. Absolutely 100%.
No. Lufa has a new name for him.
For who? Alex?
Yes.
His stage name.
Alex thought he was Slick Rick, but he was very sloppy. Yes, he was Poppy Sloppy. Yep.
Oh,
the comet
boy.
Neowise said it's created our entire solar system here, circle the Earth for 10 days. So
I feel like this is all like bad acid trip kind of stuff. Like when people, it's not reality when we start reading this stuff and talking about it. And
well, I've said this in our Facebook groups before, but when you talk about some of their writings and beliefs and all this stuff, it is reminiscent of L. Ron Hubbard writing science fiction and then realizing, like, hey, I don't make a lot of money at this, but if I were to make a cult, I could get some cash, you know? I mean, so that's kind of the way I look at it.
I wonder, for anybody listening, I would encourage you to look up the Kirtland cults or the Kirtland cult. This is actually one that Christina found, and it is very, very reminiscent of what Chad and Laurie were doing. And it was also an offshoot of the LDS.
They're not 100% original. Everything can be linked back to something.
Yeah.
Mushrooms at a Wu-Tang Clan concert. Oh dear, you guys. Oh. Chad is just another one of those guys from the 1500s who would hold up a sign and ring a bell screaming, "The end is near, the end is near." Yes. Yes.
I thought it was Kirtland cult. I'll look at my DVR really quick and I'll tell you what it is. For sure. There's one show that's on. There's a bunch of shows about it. Hold on, I gotta get my YouTube TV account and tell you which one it is.
Okay, when you come back, there.
Okay, it's Kirtland. It's Jeffrey Lundgren.
Okay, so it's not like the Wayfair scandal. If you shop at Kirkland's, you're safe.
Yeah, it's Kirtland.
Kirtland. All right. Some people are asking if we can discuss Laurie's mom.
Sure. What do we want to talk about good old Janice?
Professor Alpha, you have the platform. Ask away.
It is not okay to mention another channel.
No.
Sorry, guys. We don't talk about other channels, good, bad, happy, sad. We just don't. It stops any drama or anybody getting mad at us because another channel was mentioned in our chat. We stay in our own lane.
We do.
And we focus on the case. And we might be joking and laughing tonight. This was kind of just wanted to be lighthearted, and
we're not joking and laughing at anybody being murdered or
abused. Not at all.
It's the outlandish statements, the prophecies. I, honest to God, guys, I can't even keep up with the chat because I'm looking at Botox and messing with donkeys, and I don't know if this is code. I didn't get green pea before, so I just don't. I don't know.
Yeah, what are we missing? Are you guys talking in code down there?
I have no idea. I know the Kirkland family very well. They have a house in Park City, and the daughter is my daughter's good friend. Interesting, sweet crazy.
Oh, I'd love to talk to you about that, actually.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Musty says, my wife gets mad. I always bring the Mormons in the garage and talk while I smoke. Pretty sure out of the three, I was a zombie, but he was cool anyways. I, I kind of want to know more about that in a strange way.
I missed it.
Daddy Kurt, but Musty says that he enjoys talking to the Mormons while he's high, and his wife gets mad because she like comes out. He's got him in their garage.
Oh, I'm
It's
so
just kind of funny.
confused.
Yeah.
Uh,
Larkey says that Nate Eaton of East Idaho News addressed Laurie's prison lipstick, saying it's Jolly Ranchers mixed with colored pencil. So
I thought it was Kool-Aid.
Yeah. If any of you ever watched Orange is the New Black, there's some truth to a lot of that stuff. Somewhere. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So Professor
No.
Alpha, denial, similarities to Laurie, definitely in two appearances, well, except for the glamour shot gown pick. Okay. I mean, let's see. The Cox family is all Botox, particularly Janice. Okay, that's where the Botox came from. Okay. Luna Girl says, my DoorDash driver put Jehovah's Witness mags in my order.
That's funny.
That is funny.
I can't talk and type at the same time.
No, that's
Sorry,
okay.
guys.
That's okay. Let's see here. Tambra says, yes, I love that show until the sound effects started making me sick. I don't know if you're talking about Orange is the Blue Black. The New Black, I don't know. Let's see, y'all think
I have a problem with Janice, and I think a lot of people have this problem, is that she said that she spoke to JJ in early October and he was alive. That was a lie. Right. So why'd she lie? Right. And I mean, did they think did Janice and Barry know, and they thought that Laurie and Chad would never get caught? And second of all, who murders kids at all, let alone murders kids and buries them in their own backyard?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
I mean, I'm just saying, like,
yeah, no. I know.
Yeah. The ignorance. I'm not trying to encourage anybody to be a smarter criminal, believe me. I'm just saying that, I mean, they were able to elude law enforcement. Laurie was able to evade speaking with Kay for how many months, you know? Mm-hmm. And then they take off to Hawaii, and they're in Hawaii for, I don't have the timeline in front of me. I'm just winging it. But yeah, sweet crazy, that's fine. But why would they? I mean, they got away with so much for so many months and for so long, and they buried the kids in Chad's backyard. Right. It makes no sense to me.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
And why did Laurie's mom lie about saying that she talked to JJ in early October? Phone records don't lie. She knew that they would pull her phone records and see that there was a phone call, right? And like Christina just said, oops. Janice spoke to Laurie that day for 90 minutes. What did they talk about the day before Alex returns to Arizona to shoot at Brandon? Coincidentally, the same day, Laurie rents her storage unit. So
Christina Lynn says, I feel like the kids were buried in the backyard because they might have believed they could bring them back when the world was over. It makes no sense. Oh. Yeah.
did they not think they were going to get caught with 2 children buried in the backyard. And I don't care what anybody says. I know law enforcement is telling us that, they looked at pings and they noticed these pings on Alex's phone and these pings. I'm sorry, but I believe that they've had those pings for a long time. And then
Right.
I believe somebody spoke, and I believe that person is Melanie Gibb.
Right.
I think she spilled the beans. She finally opened up and said what she knew. I could totally be wrong, but it's just there's too many coincidences there. And I don't believe that the FBI just got those pings back in
Right.
June. I think they were sitting on them, and maybe there was some interrogation that went on and something like
Well,
that.
the chat is saying a couple things. They're saying that, they believe maybe those bodies were moved out of desperation, like something was closing in on where they were before. And then Christina Lynn says, though, if you remember, Chad wanted to sell that house after Tammy died. The Davao kids talked him out of it.
Yeah, see, I don't think that the kids were moved. I think I could be wrong. I've been wrong a lot of times in my life. I don't. I think JJ, the way that his body was described, he was very well preserved. And they didn't describe like freshly dug graves.
Right. I think they had I personally think they had another plan, and
Right.
something happened and they had to change, and they didn't have, um sometimes when you have a plan and you're not really thinking all the way ahead because you think it's so solidified, that when
Mhm.
you hit a snag in that original plan, you don't have very many options anymore because you
Right.
are where you are. And that's kind of my opinion. I don't believe they were moved, but I don't believe that was the original plan for them. And I only say that because when we were, I don't know, we've had 2 overnight conversations and then we talked today for a little bit. So I don't know when we discussed this, but you know, I believe they tried to dismember Tylee and that didn't work out for them. And then they tried to basically cremate her and that didn't work out for them. And then it was like, okay, we are where we are. I just believe that they had a plan and they thought that it was foolproof, and something went wrong, and out of desperation Chad's property was the solution, because I can't imagine anybody thinking that was a good idea. I
Yeah,
really can't.
that makes sense. It does. Hold on.
And they're also talking about, the last time I looked up, that they couldn't believe that the Daybell children moved into that house right away, and that, wasn't it considered a crime scene and everything else. I had those concerns when they went back for the second time. And
Mhm.
I remember when they went back to look for a second time, I thought, well, what? Wait, I mean, there's already new people living there. Like, it's been, yeah, there's something, but there's also something we're not going to talk about tonight, but it has been discussed a little bit in Facebook groups. There's a lot of perceived corruption in that, I believe.
So I was listening, I want to say it was a court TV video that I listened to, and it was an expert talking about, sorry, I keep hitting my mic. An expert talking about Tylee's remains being burned, and this is kind of graphic, but how if her remains were burned in that fire pit, it would be very hard to do because it's not in an enclosed space, which is true. When people are cremated, they're in a, enclosed space where the heat is held in. I found a very interesting slideshow a couple weeks ago that Chad is quoted in. He is listed as a reference in that slideshow, And it's actually the slideshow has information about grave burning, whereas the deceased is burned inside the grave.
Right.
And that's a question I have. I have that. I wonder if.
Well, I think they probably tried to attempt that, and they couldn't. Somebody would have to stand there for a long period of time, continually adding fuel to the fire, like not accelerant, but like wood, and maintaining a temperature. I just think that didn't work out for them. But that, you know,
Right.
he was probably confident that he could do that.
But some of the things, some of the things in his book, that One Foot in the Grave book, kind of correspond to things just mentioned, the very few things that we know about how the children were found. For example, how JJ was found with the plywood on top of him and then 2 stones on top of him. And then inside the One Foot in the Grave book, just different things. Chad had a lot of knowledge of that stuff.
Right. Well, they both pull from their own histories and experiences. So, yeah, definitely interesting. Amanda Clampett, or I'm sorry. Hi, Amanda. Shelley says LDS teaches against cremation, so that's interesting. They kind of go a la carte with their LDS beliefs. They're not LDS. But yeah, that is interesting.
Oh, one of those comments. What was this one? Yeah, I've heard that mentioned before, Tracy L, about diesel fuel. I've heard that. I don't know. I'm scared to know what we're going to find out. It's scary.
Right. Yeah, Tracy L, I know. That's why I said he's not. I'm please, whenever I mention that, I'm not saying they are. They think they are.
They think they are, yeah.
They're not. Yeah. Yeah, LDS isn't down with murder either. Yeah.
I don't know any faith that is okay with murder. So
there are a couple. Not ones that surround us every day.
We probably don't want to get into that tonight.
No. No, I mean they're extremes. They're extremes.
Right.
And historically.
Right.
There are a lot. We're just more civilized now.
Bonnie Lucas, that's interesting you say that, because in the Vanessa, how do you guys say her last name? Is it
Gillian? I think it's Guion, but they're saying
Guion, because the 2 L's are a Y in Spanish. So
right, but
Guion. I don't want to say it wrong, but they were only able to identify her by a strand of hair, because she was beat so bad that her teeth were knocked out and damaged, and then she was, from my understanding, dismembered, burned, and encased in concrete.
Right.
Christina, I agree with you. Unfortunately, Christina says, unfortunately, I believe they were part of a sacrifice ritual. Tylee, at least, if not both. I agree with you. We'll have to maybe do a show on that one night and see what you guys think, because we do have some information that goes along with that, and it's very, very interesting when you compare it. And
I agree with that, but I also believe that if they called it themselves that, it was the justification, and there were other reasons as well. Because I personally don't believe they were so entrenched in their beliefs.
Well, we'll have to show it to you. It does go along with their stuff they were following. I know you don't believe that they were entrenched in their beliefs. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they were just...
I think their beliefs were a story that was self-serving, and gave them justification and rationalization to do the things they were doing.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion.
Amanda Clampett, what's everyone's thoughts on Melanie Gibbs? Melanie Gibb. Is she going down, or did she cover her butt for speaking out? My thought is she got immunity. Somebody else had mentioned, I had highlighted their comment, her boyfriend David Warwick spoke to law enforcement in early June before the children were discovered. So good night, Tambra. We're headed to bed soon too because it's getting late. I have to work in the morning. I know Amy does too. So
Amy has to drive 5 hours tomorrow.
oh boy. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up soon. I don't think any of us, boy mom, I don't understand how anybody can do that to a child. I think what completely upsets me is that this never should have happened.
No.
That's why we obtained the paperwork that we obtained, and when we got it, we didn't know what was in it. We only knew that it was a lot. You know, right now we're on 2,700 pages with more still coming in that we have coming in this week. And when you read those pages, Laurie should have never had kids in her possession. This could have been stopped. This could have never happened.
Right.
Laurie and Charles should have never been able to adopt JJ.
Nope.
Tylee should have never been in Laurie's care. So this didn't have to. I think that's what pisses me off so bad.
No, I 100% agree with you. It's mind blowing, and maybe we can circle back to Cheryl, but I mean, I feel so badly for her, and then again, I feel like with these documents out and people reading, with people knowing that they exist and being able to read them, there's good and bad, and one of the things is that everybody knows that she was a warrior for her children.
She was. She protected her children. She stood up for them, and so did Joe Ryan. It's my assumption, this is just an assumption and conclusion that I came to, that Cheryl was probably thankful when Charles left Texas. As a mother, I would be thankful.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks to not have a dad around for your kids, but when crazy's taking off and they're heading,
and his little dog too.
Yeah, 1,000 miles away, good riddance. And not that she didn't have love for him, because I do believe she had love for him. When you have children with somebody, you always love them. I just think that as a mother, looking at it as a mother, that Cheryl was probably happy when Laurie and Chad moved. Or Charles, sorry guys.
Definitely. That was a godsend.
Yes. Yep. So
I can't imagine what it was like for her, the times that her children were with him and under Laurie's care as well. What her life must have been like, the anxiety that you would have felt.
Right.
And then knowing that, you're going to court and you're making these reports and everything else that, and you're just not, it's like, I don't want to say nobody's listening, but the people that need to listen weren't.
Yep. Specifically a certain judge. And, you're talking about 2 custody disputes in the same county that ended up both being in front of the same judge. So there's one county in one state, right? And then Tylee's battle continued to Arizona. So there's another state. Why is our judicial system failing children? Why?
I don't know. Because you hear it from you read it here when things have gone too far and it's way too late. You hear it from your friends you can trust, and you hear about how, like, oh, we're going because of this, and you think, oh, I have a lawyer, I have everything lined up or whatever, and then your friend says the judge just didn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently, a friend of mine was telling me that her ex-husband leaves her 5-year-old and her 7-year-old at home for like 45 minutes while he runs to the grocery store. And she took him to court for it, and he didn't lose custody or visitation because I don't know why. But we
Yeah.
all know that. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that can justify leaving small children at home. Oh, and by the way, there's no phone in the house because he only has a cell phone.
Mm,
That's what it is.
boy.
And she says things like, I'm just like, my kids are going to end up in the paper, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine. I
No, I
really,
can't either.
I
It
can't.
breaks my heart.
If anybody hasn't been able to access the documents, they are on our Patreon, and all tiers are open. So I think it's like $10 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you can literally sign up on the $10 tier, and all of the tier levels are open. So signing up on the $10 tier, you'll be able to see all 2,700 plus pages that are available at this time. And I think right now our intentions are to only keep that Patreon open for a month.
Right.
Because I know there was some concerns. People didn't want to be charged monthly, which we 100% understand.
Right.
So yes, it's only 1 month. You're not going to get reoccurring monthly charges or anything like that.
No. We have to
Um,
sit down and discuss, what the best options are and whatever. We were kind of between a rock and a hard place, and we didn't have a lot of time. So, please don't worry about that. There will be some changes, and we're
yes.
going to try to make them in your best interests. So,
Yes. Yeah. We never wanted to have to do what we did when
right.
it came to going to Patreon. And then it had to be very quick. And I'm sorry if you hear my 11-year-old back there playing video games. He's making some crazy noises. But
He's just happy. That's a
Jan,
good thing.
when is the Jones court trial going to happen? We don't know. We don't have a date on that yet. They had the last hearing, my gosh, was June 10th, 11-ish. And the last time I checked, we'll have to check again, see if there's another one scheduled. There was nothing else scheduled coming up. So yeah, Diane, thank you for understanding. And we are definitely going to find some resolution for what we have going on with the documents. So, glowing number, you love happy children sounds. He shouldn't be up this late.
It's summer.
He's got his days and nights mixed up. He does. And
I wonder who he gets that from.
from me. From him.
I'm teasing you.
This is my wild one. He's a wild one, and he is hilarious and a riot. And
so my two said to me tonight while we were doing bedtime routine. They said, we don't understand why we have to go to bed, so you have a secret life. I thought it was funny. So you can have a secret life.
Too funny. Well, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up. Obviously, we will be back probably quite a few times this week. I will be out of town this upcoming weekend. So we're going to get our lives this way. Well, I really won't be out of town. I'll be camping. So
I'm jealous. I love camping.
Me too. I love camping.
Oh, eat a s'more for me.
Yeah. So, I know that we are planning on being live with Web Sleuths on, I think, what was it, Amy, Thursday night?
Thursday night, yes.
Yes.
And
So
we will
live.
give you notifications before that in the Facebook groups and on our community page as well.
Absolutely. In the meantime, you can join our Facebook group. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram. All of those links will be in the description of this video. And I would like to add, we are following the case of Taylor McAllister. If you guys don't mind checking out her playlist and watching the videos, her parents need help getting justice for her. And if you guys could help us do that, I know that they would greatly appreciate it.
They need Taylor's name out there. They need eyes on this case. They need national attention.
They do.
And they need justice for their daughter. Their daughter was murdered. And
Yes.
yeah. So please, if you if you listen to anything in that playlist, listen to the one where we talk very openly and candidly with her parents, Bill and Leslie McAllister. Please.
Yes, we had an interview with them, and her parents are absolutely transparent, open, and it's a very insightful interview. There's a long list on Taylor's video, actually, of all the people that we can all work together and send individual emails to try to bring attention to Taylor's case. Yes,
Right.
Luna girl. Her name is Taylor McAllister. She was murdered on December 22nd, 2016. And
Right.
her murderer is still walking free. So
And Taylor's hashtag is Justice for Taylor 22.
yes. Thank you guys for all the nice comments down there. And of course, to all of our mods, our bomb squad. You all are amazing. We love you. All of our subs, everybody who joins us on any social media platform. We are so thankful for you guys hanging out with us and having faith in us and trusting us to bring you information.
Right. And supporting us even when it gets a little rocky sometimes. That's when it means the
Yes.
most. So thank you.
Yes.
So
And
go ahead.
on that note, I'm going to bed, guys. I got to be up in 6 hours. So everybody have a good night. Sweet dreams. Happy Monday tomorrow. And enjoy your week. Bye, Amy.
Bye. It's WTAF signing off.